Thank you for watching this video from KingswaySoft. Today, I will be introducing the MSMQ components from within the SSIS Productivity Pack product. The SSIS Productivity Pack is a collection of premium SSIS components which enable greater developer productivity and increases the power of SSIS. Using our MSMQ components, we can facilitate integration with MSMQ from within SSIS. As of this recording, the SSIS Productivity Pack offers three MSMQ components: MSMQ Connection Manager, MSMQ Source, and MSMQ Destination. The Connection Manager can be used to establish connections with Microsoft Message Queue. The Source component can be used to read or retrieve messages from Microsoft Message Queue, whereas the Destination component can be used to send messages to a Microsoft Message Queue. Let's begin by creating our MSMQ Connection Manager. Right-click on the Connection Manager area down below to add a new connection. Select the MSMQ KingswaySoft item to add this new Connection Manager. Note that you should see two MSMQ types in this window. Make sure that you're using the one with the KingswaySoft prefix. The queue path field lets you enter the path of the queue you would like to connect to. If you do not know the path of your queue, you can click the Browse button to launch the Select Queue dialog and help locate it. By default, the Select Queue dialog will list any Microsoft Message queues that are located on the local machine. The Server Name dropdown will list other servers that are visible to your local machine, and selecting a server will list any Microsoft Message queue that it contains. If the server you want is not listed, you can type the name and type search to list any message queues on that server. If you would like to create a new queue on the selected machine, click the Create Queue button. Before we hit OK, we should test the connection to make sure our information is correct and we can connect successfully. Please note that the Connection Manager that we just created is a package-level Connection Manager. For SSIS 2012 or later, you can create project-level Connection Managers if you right-click the Connection Managers node within the Solution Explorer. Let's begin configuring our data flow task, starting with our MSMQ Source Component by dragging it to the design surface and double-clicking to open its editor form. As mentioned before, the MSMQ Source Component is an SSIS data flow pipeline component that can be used to read and receive data from Microsoft Message Queue. Let's select an MSMQ Connection Manager. There are two different modes available for receiving messages: peek and receive and delete. If the peek option is selected, messages will be received from the queue without deleting them or modifying the queue in any way. If the Receive Messages and Delete option is selected, messages will be retrieved and deleted from the queue. It is only possible to select a listener mode if the Receive mode is Receive and Delete. The encoding option will automatically default to the user's Windows regional settings, but you can always change as needed depending on the type of messages to be expected. After the MSMQ component has retrieved all available messages from the queue, it can continue to listen for more messages for a period of time. There are three listener modes available. Listener modes, other than None, are only compatible with the Receive and Delete Receive mode. The Fixed Time mode allows the component to listen for messages for a specified period of time. The Wait Until mode allows the component to listen for messages until a specified date and time. The Wait Until Variable mode allows the component to listen for messages until a date and time specified in a variable. For today's demo, we will select Peek as our Receive mode. Navigating to the Columns page, this will show a default list of properties of messages that will be retrieved. By clicking the Add button, additional columns can be added that correspond to other properties of incoming messages. Clicking the Refresh Component button causes the component to retrieve the latest metadata and update each field to its most recent metadata. It will remove any custom fields that have been added on the columns page. Let's click OK to finish configuring our source component. For this demonstration, we are going to add a dummy data reader destination component for the purpose of showing you how the data flows from the source to destination components. We can now execute this task successfully. We will now demonstrate sending messages using the MSMQ Destination Component. Let's begin by generating some sample data using our Data Spawner component, which is also a part of our Productivity Pack. We will create a customer name and label. The customer name will be passed to the destination component as the message's body. Drag the MSMQ Destination Component from the SSIS toolbox to the design surface and connect the two. We'll first need to select an MSMQ Connection Manager. The time to be received option specifies the maximum time in seconds that a message will remain in the queue after it is sent. If this time expires, the message is discarded. The time to reach queue option specifies the maximum time in seconds that a message will take to reach the queue before it is discarded. There are a couple of options in the priority drop-down list which specifies the priority of sent messages. The connector type allows you to specify a GUID defined by the application and used in conjunction with connector applications or message encryption. This GUID allows a receiving application to interpret message properties that were set by the sending applications, but that are usually set by message queuing. This is optional. The encoding option will automatically default to the user's Windows regional settings, but you can always choose a different one as needed, depending on how the message should be encoded. Messages written to MSMQ are often XML messages. If the body of your message is not in XML format, check this option to allow MSMQ to convert to XML format. On the Advanced page, you can determine whether messages should be sent with authentication or not. Encryption algorithm is the algorithm used to encrypt messages. There are three options: None, RC2, and RC4. If the None option is selected, the message will not be encrypted. Under the Miscellaneous Settings section, we have some more options. If the Use Dead Letter Queue option is enabled, the messaging queuing computer that cannot deliver the message before its time to reach queue timer expires will place the undelivered message in the non-transactional dead letter queue of that computer. The Use Journal Queue option determines if the journal queue will be used for sent messages. Journal queues store copies of messages that are processed and removed from the queue. The Use Tracing option determines if tracing should be used for sent messages. Heading to the Columns page, we can map columns from upstream components to destination attributes. Clicking the Add button will bring up a dialog that will allow advanced fields to be added. This will allow you to set additional properties on outgoing messages. The values of incoming data for advanced fields will override any matching properties set on the component. The last page is the error handling page, where there are three error handling mechanisms to choose from. The default option is Fail on Error, where the entire data flow task will fail as soon as an error occurs. There is also the Redirect Rows to Error Output, where the error output will contain the failed records with extra columns: error code, error column, error message. There is also a third option, which is to ignore any errors that may have occurred. Let's click OK to finish configuring our destination component. We can now execute this task successfully. This concludes a demonstration of the MSMQ components within our SSIS Productivity Pack. There are many other components in the SSIS Productivity Pack that enable developers to accomplish more in SSIS in a much more productive fashion. MSMQ is just one of the messaging queue technologies that are supported. The Productivity Pack comes with a few other messaging queue support, including Azure Service Bus, IBM MQ, RabbitMQ, and etc. Please feel free to take a look at our other videos available for viewing on our website or YouTube channel. Thank you for watching this video. For any additional questions, please feel free to reach out to us.